Welcome to team meeting, you guys. I'm so excited for team meeting today because it's going to be litty lit per usual. So, first things first, breakout rooms. So I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms and you guys are going to make a friend. So here are breakout room questions so you guys can build some rapport. So I want to know who's your famous look like, who's your celebrity look-alike, or who's someone that like people are always like, oh my gosh, you look just like this person. I want to know who that person is. Next is, what do you think the hardest sport is? Me and my friends, or not my friends, my cousins and I got into a very heated debate on what we think is the hardest sport. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. And then lastly, what is your weekly sales goal? Because I want to know how much I can count on you guys to be popping out sales this week. So with that being said, I'm going to pause the recording and we're going to tap back here in a second. All right. Cool. Next is office calendar. Office calendar. So get your guys' notes out, get your guys' calendars out. We got team meeting on Wednesday, October 11th from 6 to 8. You can join either on Zoom or at the office. And then we have our office phone jams. We got Saturday from 11 to 1. That's with me and the new training class. We got Sunday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And that's going to be Divinity's phone jam that she's going to be running. And then on Monday from 12 to 2, you can hop in with me. That's when I'm going to be doing my personal phone jam, booking people up for interviews. On Tuesday, Miss Zoe Cantrell will be leading a 1 hour long phone jam. She posted about it yesterday, so I hope some people popped in. And then on Wednesdays, I guess, Sydney, we need to change your phone jam time because that's during team meeting. So anyway, but those are our office phone jam times. We have them going on often. The more you phone, the more demos you book. The more demos you book, the more money you make. So go to phone jams. Next thing that I wanted to go ahead and talk about is our office goal to book 100 demos as a team every single week. Last week, we only booked 23 demos, which was a big step backwards from where we were the previous week, so 3 weeks ago. But you know what? We still made a lot of sales and capitalized on those 23 appointments. So far this week, we've scheduled 9 appointments so far this week, which has been pretty awesome and pretty baller. So make sure that you guys are staying consistent with your guys' demos. Make sure you guys are staying consistent with your phone calls. And if you can stay consistent with those two things, booking demos and making phone calls, you guys will be absolute rock stars. Next thing I want to go ahead and talk about is quote of the week. So if you guys want to go ahead and take your guys' notebook and write this down in your guys' notebooks. This quote of the week came from Pax this week, or he was the one who helped me pick a quote. And it's failure inspires winners. Failure inspires winners. Failure defeats losers. So what does that really mean? Winners look at failure as an opportunity to learn and to grow and as a challenge to defeat. But if you're a loser, failure defeats you. Failure defeats you. And failure will still happen. Failure happens regardless. You will fail in life. You will fail today. You will fail tomorrow. But it's the way that you perceive it. Do you look at it as a challenge to grow and become better and to learn from your mistakes? Or are you going to back down and quit? Right? So I really like this quote because we get told no a lot in sales. In sales, we get told no a lot. And that's, I guess, technically a failure. But how are you going to deal with those no sales? Are you going to let those no sales affect you in a negative way and in a negative light? Or are you going to say, hey, the next one, I'll get it for sure? So I really like this quote. Next is some recognition and appreciation. And I'm excited for recognition and appreciation this week. All right. So we had a $7,520 sales week last week, a $470 average order. So you guys are absolute rock stars. So placing one order, selling a veggie peeler to her grandma, we got Cecilia with 43 CPO. So one clap for Cecilia on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. And then we got Tamara making her first sale, selling a slicer at 122 CPO. So one clap for Tamara on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Miss Araya Salas selling 126 CPO, selling a butcher knife. One clap for Araya on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got yours truly, Miss Michaela Gale, tiptoeing her way to 10K, 634 CPO. One clap for Michaela on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Newsletter Club. So we got Keaton McCoy selling a homemaker set and a couple other small pieces, 1,091 CPO. So one clap on for Keaton on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Miss Tommy Smart placing 4 orders at 1,335 CPO with a 333 average order. That's got to mean something. One clap for Tommy on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Miss Savannah Franzoy placing an order so close to her $30,000 promotion at 1,614 CPO. So one clap for Savannah on 3. 1, 2, 3. And leading the way in our office sales, once again, for the 3rd week in a row, we got Mr. Pax Huckstep at 2,555. All those 5s, once again, gotta mean something. So one clap for our squad on 3. 1, 2, 3. So that was last week's sales. And then we got this week's sales. So the tab week starts on Tuesday. So from Tuesday until today, we got Miss Tommy Smart, 33 CPO away from hitting newsletter, selling a set right before team meeting, going into team meeting with already a guaranteed paycheck, making 20% of that. So she made a little under $200. Or no, yes. Yeah, a little under $200 in an hour today. Doesn't suck. Doubling her paycheck from last week going into this week. Doesn't suck. Awesome. Love it. One clap for Tommy on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then, so we got our recognition and appreciation. And then we got our newsletter. So what is newsletter? So if this is your first team meeting ever, Tommy, what newsletter is a thing that we do as a company, and every single person that is over $1,000 in sales for the week, they get put on the national newsletter. So it is national appreciation. It's an email that gets sent out to every single district manager, branch manager, Cutco sales professional, division manager, and all of our region managers, along with the president of Cutco and Vector. They all see these newsletter reports, and so this is national recognition. And why $1,000 in sales? If you're over $1,000 in sales for the week, no matter what percentage you are at, you are guaranteeing yourself a baller paycheck for the week. So if you go 5 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales, you will get a entertainer pack for free from your boy, just for going above and beyond and hitting that level and staying consistent. After 10 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales, you'll get a free engraved K-bar from your boy. And then every 5 weeks after that, I'll just get you whatever you're missing from your sample kit to help complete your sample kit. With that being said, we got some new members to our consistency club. We got Keaton added, we got Tommy added, and we got Savannah added. So give a one clap to those 3 on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we got Mr. Pax Huckstep with 4 weeks in a row, over $1,000 in sales, about to hit that next prize level. So Pax, you sell over $1,000 in sales this week, you get an entertainer pack for free from your boy. And if you guys break our consistency club record, which is 17 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales, you get a day with Trey. So we'll go and do something fun, either a fancy dinner. We might go up to Denver, go on a hike a 14er, go to like a national park. We might go skydiving. I hope someone says skydiving because I want to go skydiving. But we'll do like a bucket list item that's within reason. So like I'm not buying no one a Lamborghini or nothing crazy. But a fancy dinner, skydiving, I don't know, maybe going to the gun range, shooting some guns. I don't know what you guys are into, but whatever you guys are into, we can do something fun. You'll get a cool day with Trey and it will be 100% worth it. So next we got some promotions in the house. So let's see who gave themselves a pay raise this week. So first, hitting their first promo, we got Keaton McCoy. He was from last week's training class, was in the same training class as Tommy, hitting his first promotion, which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. So let's give a one clap to Keaton on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then hitting her $3,000 promotion, officially making over $400 in income so far since starting here and since working here, Miss Tommy Smart. She has doubled her income. She has gone from 10% all the way from 15. Now she is at 20% commission. So everything that you will sell now will be at 20%. I love Tommy's effort, her attitude. Tommy lives very far away from the office. And in her first weekend, she drove like an hour, 2 hours down to the office, drove 2 hours down to the office, got some rope, got some leather. We did like a 4-hour long makeshift PC. And then she went and sold a homemaker set right after. So it was pretty cool. So come to the office. But Tommy, I'm so incredibly proud of you. Guaranteeing yourself some baller income. Keep working, keep building. Let's get to Dirty 30, making 30% commission here soon. So let's give a 2 clap to Tommy on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. And then no one at 6K. No one at 10K. We got some people really close. Michaela to 10K, hasn't quite hit it yet. And the next thing I kind of want to go ahead and talk about is some recognition and appreciation for our branch manager class of 2024. So our branch manager class is Savannah, Miguel, Emma, Michaela, Sydney, Zoe, Pax, and Divinity, which means all 8 of these people are going to be running their own offices. They're going to be interviewing, training, teaching, recruiting, building their own sales force. They're pretty much going to do everything that I do for 100 days in the summertime, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome, and pretty incredible. They also get to do a ton of free travel, qualify for a lot of free bonuses and sign-on bonuses, and all this other really cool and fun stuff that comes with being a branch manager. So my branch manager class, you guys are rock stars. Keep doing your thing. 1 clap for our branches on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we have our assistant manager squad, which is very similar to our branch squad. But with that being said, I am looking to expand our assistant manager squad. So if you are interested in leadership and advancement opportunity, there's plenty of room for growth because 8 out of these 10 people are going to be running their own office next summertime. And I need assistant managers for next summertime. So if you are interested in leadership and advancement opportunity, shoot me a text. Let's have a PC. Let's talk about how we can grow in leadership and advancement here with the company. And then we have our $10,000 fast starters. So if you're still on your fast start, there's still plenty of time. Never give up until the very, very end, because that's for losers and we're winners here. So next thing I want to go ahead and talk about is journaling. I want to go ahead and talk about journaling. And I want to, this message and this talk is kind of be in 2 sections. And I want to start off with personal growth today before we go into like the skills portion of things. But I want to talk about journaling and the power of journaling. So first kind of section is going to be the benefits of it and why I think you guys should do it. And then kind of the second part is how to start it and like what are kind of your first steps to take and really just how to approach it. Now, journaling is something that I've been doing since 2019. This job has actually really helped me with my journaling journey. And it's really cool because you guys know that I always have my comp book with me 24/7, 365. And what I've started to do since 2019 is I started writing in my journal. So like I would take notes on like Cutco messages, sales stuff, but I'll also like add a mix of like journaling and like some personal messages and some like really cool things like that. And it's really cool now because I can like look back and I can really like see the measurable growth of Trey. I can see the evolution and be like, oh, on October 4th in 2019, this is what I was doing. This is what I was thinking. This is what I was experiencing. And so it's a really cool kind of exercise and journey. So I'm kind of taken away from my talking points, but I'm going to dive back into kind of our slides for today. So I want you guys to kind of go ahead and write each one of these down. I'm going to talk briefly on each 10 of these points. So first benefit that it has is it releases tension in your mind. Who here has ever like been really stressed out and you feel like you have so much going on in your mind and you feel like if something else happens, you're going to like explode? Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the best way to describe it, but that's kind of how I think of it. I think of it kind of as like a balloon, right? And like you get a lot of stress and you get a lot of anxiety and you keep blowing in it, things start happening. And at one point or another, that balloon's going to pop, right? You don't want to pop on someone that is not deserving of that pop, right? And so journaling helps release that air and that tension out of that stress balloon that is your mind. Next is number 2, the second benefit is it helps process difficult feelings and emotions. And when you write something down and really like think about your emotions, it helps you process those things, right? When you're writing it down and when you're talking it over, this is like very like what therapy is it helps process those emotions. But journaling is self-therapy. It is self-therapy. It's therapy with yourself. Number 3 is it helps reduce stress and anxiety. And I know a lot of times, even I can feel like I have so many things going on. And I'm sure you guys are like, I have school, I have another job, I have boyfriend, girlfriend, family, my friends are here, then I have this job, and I have so much going on right now. And I feel like my thoughts are so scattered and I feel so overwhelmed. And I just have no outlet to kind of release that anxiety and stress. Journaling can actually help do that for you. Number 4, which is my favorite one, or one of my favorite ones, is it tracks progress and it tracks healing. It tracks your progress and it tracks your healing, and it's measurable growth. Journaling is measurable growth. I can look back in my journal and see what I was writing, and like, I don't know, for example, like a couple weeks ago on September 5th, I journaled like 6 pages. I like drew like a little graph, and then I just like journaled 6 pages. And I can like go back and like look at this journal entry and just be like, oh my gosh, like this is the thing that I was tripping about. Like this is what I was worried about. Like I'm so much further along in my process of who I am as a person. And it's measurable. You can see it. It's tangible. I know like in Cutco and Vector, we talk about stats, like knowing your closing, average order, phone stats, income stats, whatever it might be. This is the stats on you. This is like your personal stat tracking, healing, processing, and helping you move on from either big traumatic events or day-to-day stuff, whatever it might be. It's just measurable growth. And I like seeing that growth in myself. Number 5 is it helps improve your relationship with yourself. And you guys always kind of like point the joke and kind of tease me a little bit for Trey being Trey's #1 fan. And it's because I've really worked on my relationship with myself, and I'm comfortable with being in a room alone by myself with my own thoughts. And what's something that has really helped me with that is journaling. It helped me really come to terms with my shortcomings, the things that I stand out on and that I'm like really good at. And it really helped me improve my relationship with how I talk to myself, how I treat myself, how I frame myself to myself. Next is it really improves focus. So improved focus. Now, when you're talking to someone about your problems, it can feel kind of scattered. And like you might feel like you have like a lot of things that you want to talk about. You're like, oh, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about this. And it can kind of be kind of scatterbrained. But when you're writing it down, you need to be focused on what you're writing. So it helps improve your focus and really focus in on the core issues and the core problems. Number 7, which is another one of my favorite ones, is emotional intelligence. And I know our staff, we kind of talked about functionalism and like doing X activity will reproduce Y result. And you guys can do this with journaling too. You can be like, hey, I was feeling this way today. Why did I feel this way? What did I do today? Oh, these actions made me feel this way. And that helps you recognize what your emotional triggers are, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you inspired, what makes you motivated, what makes you angry, what makes you depressed, what makes you do this, what makes you do that. And it has that emotional intelligence. So now when you like are walking in your daily life, and you're like, oh, I'm really upset right now, you can recognize and appreciate that you're upset, and you can identify that. Or if you're really happy, you can identify that. If you're really sad, whatever, you can identify that emotion, and then you can properly process that emotion. And that all stems from journaling. Number 8 is positive self-reflection. So like when you go back and look at your previous journal entries, it's usually an always positive experience because you get to see that growth. And you also get to positively reflect your achievements, your high comings, your shortcomings, and being able to have that self-reflection and be able to look back on yourself and say, oh, I did this, or I was able to grow and learn from X, Y, or Z. It's a good kind of looking in the mirror type of ordeal. And then number 9, it helps you learn from past experiences. It helps you learn from past experiences. And if you write down in your journal, oh, when I stubbed my toe on Tuesday, it really hurt my toe. Well, now you know not to stub your toe, right? So you can learn from the past experiences and help you in future experiences and future endeavors, right? So this can be relationships. You can journal about your relationship. You can be like saying, my significant other did X, Y, and Z, and it made me feel X, Y, and Z. And then in your next relationship, or if that comes up again in your current relationship, you can be like, oh my gosh, I know what this is. I've learned from my past experiences, and it will help you learn and grow for the future. And then number 10, it'll help you boost your creativity and your confidence. It'll help boost your creativity and your confidence. And that last point kind of leads into my second point, kind of the second half of this is kind of best practices. Now, when I was in your guys' shoes and my manager was like, you guys should journal. And I was like, what is this hippy dippy bullshit? Like, I'm not going to journal and write about my feelings. This is stupid. Right. But now that I'm kind of like a little bit older, I kind of learned kind of the best practices and the things that really helped me just even start doing this process. So number one is to just start. It's just start. It doesn't matter if it's a paragraph. It doesn't matter if it's one sentence to yourself, or it doesn't matter if it's 10 plus pages. And it doesn't need to necessarily be 10 plus pages. When you journal, you don't have to sit down and write and write and write and write. You don't have to do that. That's not the point of journaling. The point of journaling is to get from pen onto paper, right? Forget what's up here on something physical. So when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really like anxious about starting to journal, or I don't know what to journal about, I don't know what to write about, whatever, leading into point number 2, treat it like a conversation with yourself. Treat it as if you're talking to your friend, as if you're talking to yourself. I always like to think of it as like, hey, if I'm having a conversation, how would I have a conversation with myself? Right? Obviously, I can tell myself my secrets. I can tell myself my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions that I probably can't tell certain other people for X, Y, and Z reasons. Right? So treat it like a conversation with yourself. Like that inner dialogue that goes on in your mind, just put that down in your journal. That's what journaling is. It doesn't need to be this super complicated, rigid, structured, personal health, growth, exercise, and activity. It doesn't need to be all that. Just treat it like a conversation with yourself. How would you talk to yourself about this situation? And 9 out of 10 times, who here like gives really good advice to their friends about their problems? Or like, who's that friend? Or like, are you guys like that friend, like your friends always come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I have a problem. Can you like help me with it? And like, cause like that's me. Like I give baller advice. But when it comes to my own problems, I'm like, dude, I cannot give myself like advice at all. Like I can give other people great advice, but I can't give myself advice. And so when you're journaling, treating it like a conversation with yourself and giving yourself advice on what you would do for you. Number 3 is do it when you need it. Do it when you need it. Don't pressure yourself to do it every day. Don't put that extra stress on you to make sure that like, oh, did you journal today? Did you journal today? Because if you miss one day, then you're going to feel bad about it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't journal today, so I'm not going to journal tomorrow. I'm just going to stop the habit altogether because I felt bad that I missed one day. Don't put pressure on yourself to do this activity. There's no pressure on it. Do it when you need it. I do it when I need it. If I'm feeling stressed out or if I have some extra time and I have some time to kill, like sometimes I'll even go to like a little cafe and like just sit in a cafe and just journal when I need to. I'm not doing that every day. You don't need to do this every day. So don't put that extra weight and that extra pressure and don't stress yourself out about making sure that you're writing because you don't need to. Do it when you feel the need to do it. Number 4 is document big life events. This is your life's history. This is your history book. We read history books all the time on the great things that people said, the great things that people did. And history is just a perspective of people's diaries and journals. That's what history is. You guys are literally writing history down when you write about events in your life. Like 300 years from now, when the aliens come down and they're like, I wonder what humans were like, and they pick up your journal, they'll have a really good picture and a really good understanding. Right. And sometimes that's the way that I treat journaling. I'm like, if I'm writing to like an alien race in the future, like, what do I want them to know about Trey? And sometimes I'll go on like little rants about like, I'm like, dude, humanity's awesome. Like people like create art and it's like really cool to like do this activity and like being a human is awesome. And sometimes I'm like, dude, being a human blows dick. This sucks. But it's your history. And this is a legacy item too. Because when you guys are older and you guys keep your journals, you can like have your kids read your journals. Like you're only going to be like this age once, and being able to write down all the thoughts, feeling, and emotions that you're feeling now. Imagine like giving your kid your journal and being like, oh yeah, this is what I was thinking, and this was what I was going through when I was your age. Here's my journal. Like that's a legacy item. Like you guys ever wonder like what your grandparents were like when they were younger? Most people will never know, right? You're literally documenting history, which is really cool. And then number 5 is don't treat journaling like homework. Have it be fun, be creative, personalize it. Go get some stickers, put some stickers in there. Go get some like magazine cutouts. Like if you like are thinking about like journaling about like your future home or your future wedding, cool. Go fucking get some pictures of that, smack it in your journal and be like, this is what I want. Or this is like what would be really cool. Or put like Polaroid pictures in there. I have a Polaroid journal at home where I just have like taped in like a bunch of like Polaroid pictures that I've taken with my friends. And I'm like, yep, this is like me and my friend Timmy, or this is me and my friend Pax. This is like a Polaroid of us. And like being able to, like, to have those is like super cool too. So you can like personalize it to whichever kind of design you want to do. If you just want to take a page in your journal and just draw a picture of something, you can do it. And so kind of having that creative freedom and to have that personalization freedom and whatever it is that you're doing with your journal is cool. It's unique. It's yours. The way I journal is going to be different than the way that you guys journal, which is different than the person next to you or the person that you saw on TikTok talk about it, right? It is your own personal experience. Personalize it to make it an activity that you enjoy doing. There's way more benefits than there is cons to this activity. And I think that everyone should do it. Just straight up, no kizzy. That's what everyone should be doing. So with that being said, I'm going to pause the recording real quick and we're just going to do a round of takeaways. So if you're watching the recording, throw some takeaways in the comment section. I'll read them and give them a little thumbs up. So next topic of conversation is going to be our second teaching topic of today, which is going to be our names list. So what I need everyone to go ahead and do is take out their notebook, turn to a scratch piece of paper, because we haven't done this activity in a long time. And everyone to go turn to a scratch piece of paper. We're going to bring it back to training OG. So I got all of these thought joggers, and I'm going to run through every single one of them. As soon as I say something that triggers a thought, I want you guys to write it down. So I'm going to say, who is the nicest person you know? I want you to write their name down. And even if you've already written their name down once, maybe write it down again because you're like, oh my gosh, I wrote this person down the first time, but I never reached out to this person or whatever. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to list off all these people. I want you guys just to keep the pencil moving, keep the pencil flowing, and we're going to build and expand on this names list. And then I'm going to throw some scripts in the chat box so you guys can reach out to these people to get their names and phone numbers. Sound good? Gorgeous. Cool. Who are your friends? Who are your day ones? Who are your homies? Who do you hang out with? Who's in the Snapchat group chat that you're always in that's always blowing up at the most inconvenient time? Write those down. Who's your best friends? Like if something goes down, who are you calling to help you? Who do you guys know that has a kid? Who do you know that just recently had a kid? Who do you know that has a family with a ton of sons, a ton of daughters, and just a ton of kids? And you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many of these people. Who do you know that works in sales? Who is your favorite teacher in high school? Who is your favorite teacher in middle school? Who is your favorite teacher in elementary school? Who is your favorite college professor? Who do you know that is a twin? Who do you know that's in a soccer league? Who do you know that's like a workaholic and works 60 hours a week? Who do you know that does like little league sports or maybe coaches a little league or is involved in like a rec league? Whose mom was in the PTA? Whose mom was like always walking up and down the hallways? Who do you know from your church? From your current church? Who do you know from your former church? Who's like the most ambitious person you know? Like every single time you talk to them, they're like, dude, I'm gonna be a millionaire tomorrow. Or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And you're like, dude, you are very ambitious. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you're ambitious. Write that person down. Who do you know that has life insurance? Who do you know has a whole life set up already ahead of them? Who do you guys do your hobbies with? Who do you guys knit with? Who do you guys crochet with? Who do you guys go to the gym with? Who do you guys do paint? Who do you paint with? I don't know. Whatever your hobbies are. Who do you do your hobbies with? Who do you know that's in a bowling league? My mom actually just joined a bowling league. I should ask my mom for her bowling league friends. But who do you know that's in a bowling league? What about your minister, your deacon, your priest, your rabbi, your pastor, your any religious leader in any religion? What about your relatives? Who's that one relative that you still haven't reached out to? Aunties, uncles, cousins, second cousins, third cousins, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, uncles, I don't know, any of your relatives. Who do you know that has the most integrity? Who do you know that's the most trustworthy person that you can tell any secret to and you know that they're going to keep it? Who have you bought something from before? Like maybe like Girl Scout cookies or like gold cards and your high school football team was doing it. Who do you know that works at a gas station? What about your doctor? What about your dentist? What about your chiropractor? What about your shrink and your therapist? They all make a lot of money and they know a lot of other rich people. So reach out to them. Who do you know that has the best smile? Who do you know that is bald? Who do you know that works nights? Who do you know that does double shifts? If you have a church directory, pick up a church directory. Who is the first person you would want to see when you come back from vacation? Who do you know that works security or is a security person? Who can you call for help when you need it? Who is the last person you saw before this meeting? Write that person down. Who have you loaned a book to? What about your in-laws' friends, like your brother and sister-in-law? What about their friends? Who do you know that is the shortest person you know? Who do you know that rides a bus or a train to work? Who has the prettiest wife? Who has the hottest mom or the hottest dad? Whatever your preferences are. Who do you know that's a little bit overweight? What about your guys' coach? So basketball coaches, high school coaches, soccer coaches, whatever kind of coach, think about them. Who do you know that's a scuba diver? Who's an old babysitter of yours? Who, if you guys had a nanny, who's your nanny? Who do you know that's a smoker? Who do you know that quit smoking? What about your college professors? Who do you know that plays softball? Who do you know that's an engineer? Who do you know that drives a giant pickup truck? Who do you know that's a carpenter? Someone that does odd jobs. Who do you know that works a second job? Who's your most successful friend? Who's your like thrifty, outgoing, quirky friend? Who do you know that got a recent promotion? If you did Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, who are the people that were in your troop or in your little squad, whatever? Who do you know that's the most enthusiastic person you know? What about people from the YMCA? Who's your leasing agent in your apartment? What about the mailman? Who do you know that just got a new car? Who's your most likable friend? Who are your parents' friends? Who does your parents hang out with? Who do you know that likes to go fishing, hunting, and do outdoor activities? What about your brothers and sisters? What about their friends? Who do you go to the gym and work out with? Who do you take your car to get your car repaired? Where do you guys go to get your tires fixed and your tires repaired? Who do you know that runs their own business? What about people that you know that go to the grocery store like all the time? What about your pharmacist, your barber, or your beautician, or your hairdresser? Who do you know that works at the dry cleaners, the clothing store, the furniture store? Who do you know that's on crutches? If you know any plumbers or electricians, who bought a car from you if you ever sold a car before? Who did you buy your car from? Who do you know that works in a restaurant? Who do you know that has a funny accent? Who was the best man at your wedding? Who will be the best man at your wedding? Who will be your bridesmaid at your wedding? Who do you know that has a really deep voice? Who will be in your wedding party? Who do you vacation with? Who do you know that plays guitars or piano or another interest, a cello or another instrument? Who do you know that has a red hair and freckles? Who do you know that's a ginger? Who drives a really expensive car? Who drives a really small car? Who has a really cool beard and a really cool mustache? What about your childhood playmate? Who do you like always hang out with when you were little? Who do you know that works in car sales? Who do you know that works in a daycare? Who sent you a Christmas card? Who do you know that's on a diet, works in a health spa? Do you guys know any lawyers? They're great people to show. Who do you know that works in a factory? People from your neighborhood, people from your other neighborhood that you used to live in. Who were your neighbors that lived behind you, next to you, diagonal, who lived in the cul-de-sac? People from where you grew up in. People from school reunions, your significant others. What about their friends? What about a secretary, your parents' neighbors? What about campfire, people that you do campfires with or go camping with? Who's your most attractive friend? Who do you know that just got married? Who do you know that has a son or a daughter that just got married? Who's your most noble friend? Who do you know that has the best personality? Who do you know that goes skiing every season? Because it's about to be ski season. You're about to see a lot of people post about that. So who do you know that goes skiing? Who do you know that golfs? Who do you play cards with? Who do you play poker with? Who does your dad play poker with? Who do you always eat out with? Who is someone that you know that constantly eats out 24/7, 365? Who do you know that's most optimistic? People from your church choir. Who do you know that has a giant stereo in their car or has like really big speakers in their car? If you have a dress book or a fly or a business card like organizer, go through that. Who do you know that's super funny and likes to tell jokes and stories? If you guys know any policemen, any firemen, any people that work in a hospital, any doctors, who do you know that lives in your old house, who you used to work with? What about past coworkers? Who do you know that's a bartender? What about your wedding photographer? Anyone who swims, lifts weights? Anyone that you like might have sold your company to? If you're like your parents like retired and like they sold a company, who did they sell their company to? Any drivers, any chauffeurs? Who do you know that drives Uber, that does DoorDash, that does Postmates? Who do you know that talks a lot? Who do you know that's on the football team? Who do you know that's a health nut and is like on a super strict diet? Who do you know that's a massage therapist? Who do you know that's a personal trainer? Who do you know that's an OBGYN? Who do you know that would like to stay home with their kids? Who likes to stay at home? If your parents are retired, who do you know that is retired? Who do you know that's over the age of 40? Who's that one person that like everybody knows? Who's the most outgoing? A person that doesn't have a plan B? Someone that you're worried about. I don't know, who's someone that you're worried about? Write them down. Everyone that you can think of with the first letter in the alphabet. Who do you know that has an A name, B name, C name, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, all the way to Z? Do you have any friends that their last name starts with a Z? Write them down. Family friends. Who do you know that has adult children? Uncles, brothers, sisters, cousins, coworkers, salesperson, union reps, contractors, construction workers. Who do you know that's an accountant, an antiquist, an appraiser? Who do you know that's an attorney? Who do you know that's an advertising rep? Who do you know that's a pharmaceutical sales rep? Who do you know that sells auto parts? Who do you know that's a banker, a bicyclist, a bookkeeper, a beauty consultant? Who do you know that has a giant boat? Who do you know that works in a bank? Who do you know that likes to play pool? Who do you know that's a caterer? Anyone that works on cabinets or a seller? What about someone that works with computers? Someone that works in childcare, consultant, delivery? Who do you know that is a dance person? Who do you know that's an executive? Who do you know that's a florist? Who do you know that is in furniture? What about your firefighters? Who do you know that has hair? Who do you know that works? Oh, who do you know that does martial arts? So any of your friends do karate. Who do you know that works in mortgages? Who lives in a motorhome? Who do you know that always likes to go to the movies? What about your friends that do music? Who is your high school SoundCloud rapper? Go to their parents. Who do you know that works in a nursery? Who do you know that likes to paint with oils? Who do you know that works with pottery? Who do you know that likes to party? Who do you know that likes to pawn things? Who owns a pawn shop? Do you know anyone that does a pawn shop? Do you know anyone that has a storage unit? Oh, what about your tax person? Who does your parents' taxes? Who do you know that is a taxidermist? Who do you know that is a truck driver? Do you know anyone that was on TV or is like a newscaster? Do you know anyone that owns a towing company? Anyone from university, from your school, from your college? Who do you know that has a vacuum? Who's a veterinarian? And who likes water and swimming? I'm tired of the sound of my own voice at this point. I said so many words in such a short period of time. But, all right, I'm going to pause it right here in the chat on the YouTube video that we're going to post. I want to know how many people you were able to write down. Good shit. So even me as a district manager, I revisit this activity every once in a while. And even when I'm doing this activity for you guys, even I think about people. I'm like, oh, I still haven't done a demo for this person or this person or this person, or I could still sell to this person or whatever, whatever, whatever. So with that being said, next part of team meeting is my favorite part of team meeting, because this is where you guys get to pull out your cell phones, pull out your scripts, pull out your guys' calendars. We're going to do a little phone jam action. So we're going to do a phone jam. So the goal of this phone jam, you guys have 1 hour to make phone calls because it's 7 o'clock right now. So you guys have an hour to make phone calls. The goal is in this hour, can you make 40 phone calls? In the Vector Impact app, you can go in and queue people. Can you queue 40 people? And as soon as someone either answers or doesn't answer, well, are you able to like pick up the phone and have like that 3-second rule, 3 seconds in between your phone calls? So if you guys make 40 phone calls with a 4-to-1 ratio, that means every single person here will book 10 demos. And if every single person here books 10 demos, that'll be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 demos booked between the 5 of you guys. And that's half of our goal right there, getting to 100 demos a week. So that's the power that you guys have with making phone calls. So as you guys are getting all of those things set up to set up all your guys' demos for the week, I just want to say a couple words. So 1, every phone call you guys make matters. Even if you called someone 1 billion times, they still haven't answered, that phone call matters. Even if you have someone on your list that you are way too scared or way too nervous to give a call to, full send. Face your fears. Worst thing they can say is no. So every phone call matters. Next, number 2, every demo you book matters. Every demo you book matters to our team. It helps us get closer to that number 1 spot for that Silver Cup race, which, by the way, you guys, I still think we can win. So it helps us win the Silver Cup race, and it helps us hit our office goal of 100 demos booked. And then lastly, if someone hasn't told you this yet today, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the people that are on this Zoom. You matter to our squad. You matter to our office, and you matter to our culture and what we are trying to build here today in our office. So with that being said, I'm going to count down from 3. When I get to 1, I want you guys to press dial. So 3, put a smile on your face. You guys want to smile while you dial. 2, get your phoning voices ready. Me, blah, 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 blah. Perfect. 1, everybody press dial. Let's book up some demos and let's freaking rock.